This is somebody that thinks about this every day, and he knows that he can't go back in time and undo what he did.
Some people in this world seem to think that I would have it in me to do this.
But he killed me mentally, emotionally. He killed my identity.
It is a felony, possible penalty of up to life imprisonment or any term of years less than life.
This is Jaleel Smith Riley in a Cincinnati, Ohio courtroom, who, according to law enforcement, admitted to participating in a robbery that resulted in the death of a 20-year-old woman and severe injuries to her boyfriend. Portia Brooks and her boyfriend Aaron Martin were sitting in their car when Smith Riley, accompanied by two others, approached, intending to rob them. According to court documents, Smith Riley forced Martin out of the passenger side, went through his pockets, and then shot him in the head, causing permanent brain damage. Smith Riley then leaned into the car and fired 2 shots at Brooks, leading to her death 3 days later.
Lord, go back and win. This is what I come home with. This is somebody that feels genuine remorse. This is somebody that thinks about this every day, and he knows that he can't go back in time and undo what he did.
Now Portia Brooks' mother delivers a victim impact statement.
But he killed me mentally, emotionally. He killed my identity as a mother of 3, as a family of 4.
This is now Brooks' sister speaking.
I have to deal with life without Portia, so he should deal with life without parole.
These are the moments just before Jaleel Smith Riley receives the news that he will never be allowed to return home again.
Life without parole as to count 4 for the offense of attempted murder.
Officials said 2 other men are suspected of being involved in the crime. One, Randall Byrd, was killed in a shooting near Muskegon, Michigan. The second, 23-year-old Josiah Foose, is in jail in Michigan and is charged with murder in the shooting that killed Byrd. This is Diana Lovejoy. She was an ordinary fitness instructor and YouTuber who focused her attention on uploading health and fitness videos on her channel. She used to be married to Greg Mulvihill in Carlsbad, California, but their marriage fell apart and they got divorced. After a rough divorce and lots of legal issues, the court said Diana had to pay $120,000 for his share of their family home. They also decided she had to share custody of their son. Diana got really angry about these court orders, so she and her boyfriend came up with a plan to kill her ex-husband. Greg got shot in the chest, but luckily, the bullet missed his heart and he survived. Both McDavid and Diana were part of the plot, and the court had enough evidence against them.
It's so painful that some people in this world seem to think that I would have it in me to do this.
Interestingly, she collapsed in court, putting her head down on the defense table for a bit.
Verdict. We, the jury, find the defendant, Diana Jean Lovejoy, guilty of the crime of attempted murder of Greg Mulvihill.
Then, she was taken to the floor. When medics carried her out, she seemed unconscious, but doctors later found out she had just fainted. Weldon McDavid got 50 years to life in prison because he was the one who shot the gun, and Diana got 26 years to life in prison. They were also required to each pay $500,000 to Greg as damages. This is Seth Welch and Tatiana Fusari. They are a devout farming couple from Cedar Springs, Michigan, and were charged with and later convicted of felony murder and first-degree child abuse in her death. They allegedly told police they saw the baby was thin and malnourished, but did not get medical help because of their religious views and distrust of medicine and the government. This is the 911 call of the father when he supposedly discovered his child dead.
How long ago did you find this child?
It's about an hour and a half. I was waiting. I called my lawyer first thing to ask, what's the next thing I could do.
So you found the child an hour and a half ago?
Yeah.
And called your lawyer first, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. When was the last time you had contact with a child?
Last night, yesterday afternoon, about 3 p.m. She goes to bed, and that was that.
Okay, so you put her to bed last
usually about 9:30, yeah.
And he said when you found her, she was already believed to be deceased, right?
Yes.
And that's when you consulted with a lawyer?
Yep.
Do you believe she was beyond help already?
Oh, yeah, she was dead as a doormat.
Later, the autopsy showed that the reason for death was starvation and dehydration because of neglect by the adult caretakers. And this is when they find out they will never get out of prison.
That you're both charged with what they call felony murder while in the perpetration or attempted perpetration of child abuse in the first degree. They're alleging that you murdered one Mary Welch. That is a charge called homicide felony murder. It is life without parole. It requires a DNA sample to be taken upon arrest, which is often like a cotton swab or in the inside of your cheek. The second offense that you're both charged with is called child abuse in the first degree, where they're alleging you knowingly or intentionally caused serious physical harm to a child. They're talking about this Mary Welch. It is a felony, possible penalty of up to life imprisonment or any term of years less than life.
Later, Fusari testified that her husband was abusive. She stated that she was not permitted to take her daughter to a doctor and blamed the abuse for not being able to provide care for Mary. In November 2021, however, Fusari was also sentenced to life without the possibility of parole for first-degree murder. This is Ryan Stone, a Colorado man that went on a crime spree that spanned 5 counties and was broadcasted live by a news station's helicopter. He carjacked 3 vehicles across 5 counties, and one of them had a 4-year-old child in the SUV. Stone drove away at speeds exceeding 100 miles per hour, and the authorities chased him. If we go back here, you can barely notice a vehicle that Stone was driving hitting a trooper with the Colorado State Patrol as he was trying to lay down spikes. He suffered serious injuries. You see Stone drag out another victim from their car and speed away. He goes straight into a crowded intersection, and then the pursuit is on foot. He dashes off the road into a parking lot running between 2 buildings. As he slides on the ice, he drops his jacket. There's only a fence blocking him, but it's too tall. Police now surround him, and he finally gives up. Stone is now in the county jail, but he thinks he deserves to be paid for his online fame while boasting to his friends about the high-speed chase.
Hey, did you know I made the news in the UK and Australia? What? Yeah, we get paid by YouTube. So, Channel 7 News, I believe, is going to be the one that gets paid for that. Well, I'm going to contact Channel 7 News. I want to get paid. You guys are getting paid using my name and my video footage.
During his chance to talk to the court about the recordings in prison, Stone blames it on emotional strain and the use of drugs.
We are going through trial after that. It was a week-and-a-half trial. Extremely stressful. One of the phone calls about seeming like I was bragging about making international news, this, that, and the other. That was within the first week of being arrested. Still coming off of drugs.
Stone was convicted of 18 charges, including attempted homicide, child abuse, and assault. Then, the judge sentenced him to 160 years behind bars. This is Esteban Carpio. He was being interrogated by the police for stabbing an 85-year-old woman in Rhode Island. In the room with Carpio were 2 detectives. One of the detectives went out to get water for Carpio, leaving only him and Detective Sergeant James Allen in the room. Carpio snatched Allen's gun and then fired it twice, killing him. He then leaped out of a window that was 3 stories high and tried to escape, but he was caught just 45 minutes later. At his hearing, Carpio appeared wearing a mask meant to prevent the offender from spitting and biting at others. His face was also in bad shape, which shocked the courtroom. It was not so much Carpio who had the surprising reaction, but rather his family members who made claims of police brutality.
Step off, step off.
Not guilty! I'm not guilty, Stephen!
It's gross police brutality. He was mentally ill and he needed help and we couldn't get it. We tried and tried. And he didn't deserve this.
An FBI investigation found that the police did not use too much force and that Carpio's injuries were caused by his fall from the 3rd floor of a building and fight with law enforcement.
Every day, I face the facts of what I did and what happened.
He was later found guilty and sentenced to life in prison without parole.